What's going on YouTube? Today in this video I'm taking you along with me in screen printing from start to finish. From getting the artwork ready and printing it on transparencies to even burning the screen, and then further going along to screen printing it, curing it, and getting it boxed up and ready to go. What's going on everybody? My name is Bhavik Danak and I'm the owner of Aesthetic Imprints, which is a custom apparel printing company based out of my parents' basement. Alright everybody, now we're going to go ahead and get this design and get it ready to pre-print it. Now this design is already vectorized. Now I'm just going to show you guys a quick tip on creating registration marks. The first thing you want to do is, of course, get your design centered up. Now, quick tip on getting registration marks is get the pen tool and just click and then hold down shift, because if you don't hold down shift the line won't be straight. It could be like this, but if you hold down shift you'll see how the line just gets straight on its own. So hold down shift, get it as a good size, select it, command copy F, and then just transform it like that and add a stroke to it. I like to do a 2-point stroke. That gets it perfect size for me. You go ahead and command group this, and then you want to select the entire design along with the registration marks, because you don't want the registration marks to be all over here, and then you go to center it and the design is not even centered. So you want to make sure you select everything and then hit this center tool. Now that centers everything. You want to go ahead and copy and paste this same registration marks, hold shift and take it down, and then just make sure it is centered out. So you center it, and now this is ready to be printed. And that's a simple way to make registration marks. I'm sure anybody can do that. All you need is Adobe Illustrator. This brand is actually, if you haven't seen the video, I'm gonna put it right here. Click that video. It's like an hour-long video. That video was fire. This is actually my first subscriber who reached out to me and placed an order, and it was insane. It was Black Power Fitness was a brand name. He rebranded from all the feedback that he got from his clients. Didn't give up. Shout out to you, Santonio, for not giving up. Like literally, a lot of people would have gave up, and you kept going. You executed by any means. So let's go. Now you want to go ahead and print your design on a transparency paper in all black ink. This all black ink is used to block the lights from the screen so that you can go ahead and expose it and wash the design out. Now I know what you're wondering, what printer can I use? I have the exact printer for you. If you're a beginner or you're just trying to get into the business, you can definitely get this Canon Pro 100 printer, but it can get costly. The printer I used was the Canon Pixma IX6820. I have it in the link description. It's from Amazon. You can purchase it. It's definitely worth the money, and it's budget friendly in my opinion, and it feeds 11x17 transparency paper. I have all that in the link description, so go ahead and check that out. Now that we got our designs printed on this transparency paper, we're going to go ahead and burn the screen. Now I got my screen drying in here in this drying cabinet, and no light gets in there. So we need our yellow UV safe light on. So now that we got the yellow light on, let's go ahead and pop this bad boy open. Now mesh counts, that thing can be so stressful. I remember starting out, I was like, what is these mesh counts? 110, 156, 200, 300. If you're just starting out, just 110, 156, you'll be fine, especially with something like this. Now what the mesh counts really mean is the lower the mesh count, the lower the details in your design, and the higher the mesh count, the more details in your design. So if you have halftones or very, very, very small details in your design, you obviously want a higher mesh count, above 200, 300 mesh count. But if you're working with something like this, 110, 156, you'll be perfectly fine with. In this case, this design isn't really that detailed. It's just the font, nothing too crazy. So we're going to go ahead and grab a 110 or a 156. In this case, I'll just go ahead and use a 156. It just gives me the smoothest print. Now, let's grab our 156 mesh. And 156. Yep. Now, here's my exposure unit. This is what I use to expose my screens. You might not have this because this gets costly, especially when you're jumping into this. But if you do have it, go ahead and test out your times. You want to just test out your times. There's nothing I can say to help you find your time. You just have to test it out, do your testing. This is probably one of the hardest parts about screen printing, is finding your exposure time. Now, don't stress. This, years ago when I started out, this This is probably what made me want to give up when I started out, because nothing was exposing right. I was so pissed. I just felt like punching the screen, throwing it across the room, but don't do that. Now the way I line up my design is I had tape on all four sides. This is actually a registration grid paper that you can get from Ryan Matt. It came with my exposure unit, but you can either use this or even just tape it up onto your screens and you'll be just fine. But since I do have this, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of it and get it all set up. Now that I got that centered up on there, I'm going to go ahead and grab my screen, line it up to the corners of this grid, put it down, add pressure, and get that transparency taped up. Now after you get your design on there, go ahead and put it on your exposure unit. Add a little buffer pad just to add some pressure and make sure that transparency sheet is tucked up onto the screen. Close it up and expose. Now here's what my settings look like. I have a 23-second exposure, so mine is about to end in 5 seconds. Now, usually the best way to expose this is with a pressure washer, because the pressure washer easily takes out the design. But even though I have a pressure washer right here and I love exposing with that because it's a little easier, I'm going to prove to you that you could do it with just a regular garden hose. Now, just first thing you want to do is just go ahead and rinse the screen with water and let the water soak in. As you can see, the design is already starting to show up. You should be able to see your design like this. And then just rinse both sides. Just do it first with the shower setting so that you get everything wet first. As you can see, the emulsion is already starting to break down, which is good. Just keep rinsing it with water and letting it sit. Just keep weakening the emulsion. As you can see, I'm still using the hose, and as you can see, the design is falling out. Just let this sit for like 20 seconds. And make sure you are in a light safe room. This might be hard for you guys, but just try to do it in like a garage or a driveway. Try to cover the sun. And I'm speaking this from experience. I have done this from driveway. I used to do this in the driveway for like 2 to 3 years, and it worked for me. So I'm sure it'll work for you. Now you want to go ahead and put it in a fan setting. It's a little faster. It's like a pressure washer. And just go ahead and take this design out now. And there it is. I told you guys can do it with just a regular garden hose. As you can see, this is exposed. So now let's let it dry. Alright YouTube, now it's the fun part where we got your dried up screens and exposed screens, and you want to bring it to your press and get it up on there. So we're just going to put it up on there and then get it aligned and centered up. So let me bring you guys closer. Now make sure your screen is flat against this. It makes it so that there's very little movement or any. Now that this is straight, go ahead and lock it in. And this openings of the screen does need to be covered up with just tape. So we're going to cover that up so that no ink escapes. So get that taped up. All 4 corners. You could use any tape. You could just use some painter's, blue painter's tape, which is what I love to use. But I ran out, so I gotta use whatever this is. Now that we got it all taped up and ready to go, let's load this up with ink and then start printing. Now our first print is gonna be with black ink, so let's load this up with ink. And also don't forget to grab your squeegee so you could print the shirt. Now loading the ink is pretty simple. You just load it on there, put a good amount on there. That should be good. Right. And now it's time to start printing, so let's go. Now you do want to make sure your palettes have adhesive and are tacked up so that the shirts stick to them. There's a video right here. Click right here. A video is going to pop up. I have a video up on it on water-based palette adhesive, so go ahead and grab that. If not, you just use some regular tack spray that you get from Walmart or any store, and then just spray it on there. First and foremost, you want to go ahead and grab a scrap shirt, a shirt that you don't care about messing up, and you want to practice first. So we're going to go ahead and use this yellow shirt as a tester. And this is where you just go ahead and grab the ink and just flood it over. There's no pressure. Well, there's a little bit of pressure, but you're just flooding the ink over and filling this up with ink. And then I'm a pusher, so I'm going to show you the push method. You just push down and then push forward. Clear the screen and then push forward. Just do that once or twice just to make sure the ink is clear, and then when you lift it up, it's printed. That looks fire. You want to go ahead and do a print flash print and send this under the flash dryer. You want to make sure the shirt is not fully cured. You just want it tacked up. That's why it's called a flash dryer, because you want it to be like 6, 7, 8 seconds under there, because you want it to be quick flash so that you put another coat on, and then the final cure comes from the conveyor dryer. So let's put another coat on. And check that out. Check out how clean that print is. Everything turned out great. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this in my conveyor jar so that it can get its final cure and go through there and bake. The next step is to make sure your shirt is curing right. You want to go ahead and grab a heat gun and make sure your ink is baking at about 350 degrees. See, mine is at 360, but my temperature is off a little bit. So I like to keep it at 350. And as you can see, it's at that 350 range, and it's baking perfectly. That's how you know it's going to be cured properly. But you never know until you actually do the stretch test. Whoo, that's clean and hot. Now, what's a stretch test, you ask? It's a good question that you're asking. Stretch test is basically what the name is. You want to go ahead and stretch this design to make sure that it is lasting in the wash. Look at that. It's a smooth, vibrant print. Now, you want to go ahead and stretch it to make sure it is not cracking. As you can see, that design is not cracking at all. So that's how you know it turned out well. Now, if your design does start to crack, you need to let it bake a little bit longer in the conveyor jar or a flash dryer. Now, I know that starting out, you guys probably won't even have a conveyor jar. I didn't. I had a flash dryer. You can certainly cure a shirt with a flash dryer. Let me show you exactly how. Before we do that, we got to print another shirt. So let's actually grab the actual shirts that you want to print. Now that we know that the test prints turned out great. So we're going to load this shirt on here. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I would do this if I were you guys and I had only a flash dryer. So we got this on here. We're going to go ahead and print it. Make sure all the ink clears the screen. That looks good. And we're going to flash it for 6, 7 seconds. That's all you need. You want it to be quick. That's why it's called a flash dryer, because it's just a flash. And that's perfect. That's all I need. No ink gets on my hand. That's how you know it's a good flash. We're going to do our second print. And boom. Now I'm going to cure this shirt with the flash dryer to show you guys that it is possible. Now the first thing you want to do, you don't want the shirt to be stuck on the pallet. So you want to get all that air out, get it loose on there, and now send it under the flash dryer. I'm going to try to show you guys this as best as I can. Here's my heat gun. It's under there. It's baking. And you want it to sit under there for a little bit longer than you would a flash. So right now it's at 360, 370. Just give it some air. Let it sit. Smoke comes out. You don't want that. You don't want too much of that. Right when you see that, take it out. And this thing should be cured. Let's give it a stretch test. So let's give this a stretch test and see if it actually cured. Here's the shirt. No extra shit. I'm taking this shirt off exactly how you saw me do it. I didn't sneak and throw it in the conveyor jar. So let's see how this turned out. I'm gonna let you guys decide if it passes a stretch test or not. Does it pass? Look at that. See what I mean? Flash art is, you saw how long it took me. It didn't even take me long. It just took a couple seconds. As you can see, it is possible to cure it with a flash art. Now that you know how to print it, how to cure it, let's begin production and run some B-rolls. Wow, this video took you guys along with me in every step of the screen printing process, from step 1 to the final step. And damn, I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I leaked a lot of information for you guys, and this video just explained a lot about screen printing. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a big thumbs up. As you know, I've been real busy and I haven't been posting on YouTube as much as I used to be, but the content is definitely about to come. As you can see, this wall, the design, everything is laid out new. And for all the people that have been watching, you probably don't know what room this is. Go ahead and take a guess on what this room used to be and what it is now. Go ahead and take a guess. Let's play a little game. But if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a big thumbs up and please subscribe. Now, go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what other type of videos you guys would like to see. Screen printing, clothing brand, what other type of videos you guys want to see? Comment down below. And if you have any questions about screen printing, please, the best way to get answers is comment down below in this video. It helps the engagement. Like this video, first of all. It helps the engagement out of the way. So go ahead and comment down below because I'm sure somebody else has that same question that you have, but they're just scared to ask. So I'm sure if you ask that question, you're gonna help a lot of other people out. Go ahead and comment below. I will reply to you, and I guarantee you that. Now, if you want to stay connected with me and see what the latest up-to-dates about me, go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Aesthetic Imprints, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, no grind, no glory, and I'll see you in the next one.